I'm always looking for new storage ideas. And here's one, a yarn hammock. The best thing about this is that it's quick to make, easy to install, and it fits into a lot of areas we would call empty space. Here is mine, which is just near the ceiling. To make my yarn hammock, I use this Pound of Love yarn, which is a weight 4 and a number 4 crochet hook. My name is Lindy, and thank you for joining my channel. Welcome or welcome back. I decided to use a neutral coloured yarn to match the wood of my haberdashery cupboard. In my haberdashery cupboard I keep all my yarn for projects in progress, and then in my yarn hammock I have single balls of yarn for my future projects. Let's crochet our yarn hammock. We're going to begin by making a slip knot and 10 chain stitches. There are our 10 chain stitches, and this is going to be the one end of our hammock. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So we're going to work this 10 chain stitch in single crochet. We're going to use that one end, skip a stitch, then make 9 single crochets. And we're now going to make another 4 rows of single crochet until we have 5 rows of single crochet. So at the end of this, we're going to do 1 chain stitch, turn it around, and continue in single crochet for 4 more rows. A row of chain stitches and 5 rows of single crochet makes up our welt. And at the end of each row we make 1 chain stitch, turn it around, and continue with the single crochet. And here we are now at the end of our 5th row. Now there isn't a right and wrong side, so let's worry about that. We're just making it on both sides is identical. So we've got to the end of the 5th row. We're now going to make our mesh stitch for the hammock, and that consists of 5 chain stitches. And we turn it around and it's going to go into the next stitch and single crochet. 5 more chain stitches and into the next stitch, single crochet. So we had 9 single crochets, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops. We're going to increase the number of mesh loops over 13 rows from the end of the welt. We do this by adding an extra loop at the end of each row, growing the mesh from 8 loops to a total of 20 mesh loops. It is important that when you put it in the loop, you make it into the center, which you pull up so that it's even on the stitch. When we get to the end of the row, we remember now that the first row had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The second row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to make an additional loop in order to grow it. And what we do is we put it into that loop at the end. So now we have 9 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at the end of each row, we add an additional loop. And if we look here, we can see how it's starting to move out a little bit. And we're going to do that at the end of each row. So I'm going to keep going and growing it at the end of each row. So I'll grow it 1 at the end of this row. When I turn it around, I'll grow it 1 at the end of this row. And I'll meet you in a couple of rows. So we've now just completed the third row, and let me show you how you count the rows. To count the rows, you need to go 1, 2, 3. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to carry on from here now, and we keep going by increasing our numbers at the end of every row. When you're counting how many you've got on your last row, you need to take the edge stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one here is 12. So we've got 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 12 stitches. We started with 8 across. So the first row is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got the correct number. So let me show you the 6th row, which will be now 13 stitches. So we start here by going 5 loops, and we go into that loop. 5 chain stitches into that loop here. So let's count our row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th row. We're going to count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. We're going to continue until we have 20 stitches, so 7 more stitches, and then I'm going to meet you back here when we have our 20 loops. Here we have a total of 20 mesh loops, and from the welt it measures 6 inches long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll continue 20 loops per row until 20 inches in length. I've stuck a piece of sellotape at the 1 and at the 20, and we'll continue with our hammock. 18 rows and 8 inches. The mesh is now 23 rows and 10 inches. Here we have 28 rows of mesh and 11.5 inches long. So for the mesh now we have completed 32 rows and 13.5 inches in length. Here we've completed 37 mesh rows and 15.5 inches in length. Here we are now at 18.5 inches and we've done 42 mesh rows. You can see that we are not including the welt in our measurement. So here's the tape measure, here's the beginning of the welt, and here's the end of the welt, and we're putting that there, and then we're looking to 18.5 inches. Make sure when you are measuring this that you don't pull this. Keep it completely relaxed to get the correct measurement. Once we get to 20 inches, we've then done enough for this half side. We've now completed 47 rows of mesh, 20 inches of length, and in the width we still have 20 loops. So we're going to put this marker in here, which shows us the middle of our hammock. We're now going to complete 20 rows. Once we get to this marker, we're going to then start tapering from 20 loops down to 8 loops and into our 9 single crochets, and repeat with a welt on the other end. So let's have a look at how far we've got now. So here we have the welt, and we increased up to 20 rows of mesh, which started here, and then over here we are halfway. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this like that so that we've got this halfway. We can now see that the marker's here, which means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows still to do before we start decreasing and going and making a welt on the other side. I really enjoy this stitch. I find it extremely relaxing, and you get yourself into the rhythm. I know you have to count 5, but you can almost just see when it's correct. So you just do your chain stitches and then into there, and you can actually sit doing this while watching or listening to podcasts. So I find this an extremely relaxing and attractive stitch. And it knits up very softly. Remember, when you're using acrylic, it will tend to stretch, so be aware of how much stretch you're going to need. I'm making it so it fits my workroom, but you're going to need to decide how long you want it to be. So let's finish and I'll show you how we decrease. We are now going to begin decreasing. So these rows are 20 mesh stitches, and from here down to the welt is 13 rows, decreasing from 20 to 8 mesh stitches. And the way we're going to do it is the reverse of how we got this welt. So from this welt we had 8 loops, and at the end of each row we increased a loop until after 13 rows we have 20 mesh loops. We're now going to go in reverse. So at the end of each row we're going to ignore one of these loops. So we're going to do the loops all the way, and instead of making a loop into here, we're going to make it into that one, which will be 19, the next 18 until we get back to 8. We're going to start the first row of tapering. Here we have 20 loops in the mesh, and we want to end up with 8 loops. So in order to do that, here we are. we've just completed, there's a loop, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So we need 19 because we're decreasing one loop at a time. So here's our last chain 5. We're going to go into this loop, which makes it 19 loops. And we're going to just leave that hanging like that, which when we edge it, we will neaten it up a bit. And then all we're going to do is we're going to do the next 5 chains, turn this around to begin the new row, and we're going to go into this loop. So there is how we are tapering. So we're going to reduce it by 1 loop at the end of each row until we have 8 loops. So I'll meet you back when I'm ready to start making the welt on the other side. We are now at the end of the second half, where we're going to make a welt just as we did on the first half of our yarn hammock. Now the way we're going to do that is we're going to pick up 10 single crochet stitches, and we're then going to crochet 6 rows of single crochet for the welt. So here we have 8 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as we had on the other side. And we're going to pick up 10 single crochets, and we're going to pick up 1 on each side and then 1 in each center. So we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 at the end. And the way we're going to do that is we will start with 1 chain stitch to make the first single crochet, and then we go into the center of each loop and just pick it up in a single crochet into the center of each loop. So we've got 7, 8, 9 here, and then 10 on the edge. So here we have our 10 single crochets, and we're going to repeat our single crochets in 5 more rows. So we do 1 chain at the end, 1, and we just pick up both of the stitches, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last stitch at the end. We're now going to complete our welt. Another chain stitch to the other side. And 10. And every now and then we can just keep checking it with the other welt to make sure that our welts are going to line up. Just want to check the numbers there. 10. Okay, let's check this with this one. From here to here. So we now are matching up with the 2 welts. Now what we're going to do is, for it to attach to something, we need a string, and the way we're going to do that is the following. So what I've worked out is that I need a little loop here, and I need to make it with a chain stitch. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's going to come round to this side. Remember, the acrylic is very stretchy. This is all quite stretchy, so I don't want to make this too long because it's going to lag, and when it stretches it's going to be too big for the areas. And I'm going to go right into the very top here so that it is equal to that side, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down the side. What you will notice is when you decrease, you have more yarn because you're reducing it. When you increase on this side, you don't have that same thickness of yarn. So we need to tidy that up, and the way I'm going to do it is just simply down the side. I'm going to do single crochet stitches, and I'm going to do them from this welt all the way around until I get to the other welt, where I'm going to then make another 12 chain stitches and go down the other side, and I can then decide how thick I want it to be. So we'll start on this welt. We just go into each row of chain stitches. There isn't a specific number that you need to worry about. You just want to make sure it's even and neat. Your own decisions as to what looks best for you. Now when we get to this part, what I tend to do is I go in one at the beginning, and then I go one in the middle, and then where it joins together. So I'm doing 2 into each loop stitch, and what you will find is that when you have a slightly thicker, you will have the 2 that you've decreased. It might go a little bit thicker, but you go into each stitch. So that one I just wanted to check. I went into where they joined, which is there. Then into the center of the loop and where the 2 loops come together. Here we've got the double, so I go over both of them and then into the center. Into the connecting part. Okay. Connecting. That was the middle, so now I'm going into the center of that one and then where they join. And there's how it's looking on the edge. So I'm going to carry on. This is the most difficult part. I'm going to carry on until I get all the way around here, and I'll meet you when I get to this welt over here. Here I am continuing on the same row. I've just gone into the in-between. Now I go into the loop, in-between, and then there's a little bit of crazy thing happening here. So you just pick up what looks comfortably a good distance apart. And then we go up the side here. one stitch into each row. And you go right into the corner of the edge of this welt, and we're going to do 12 chain. And then you take it across as you did with the last one, go into this very corner stitch. And we just slip stitch that off. And we're going to go all the way down this side. I'm actually going to weave this in. Again, we go down the side, picking up one single crochet in each row. As we did with the other welt. And then we continue down this edge until we go all the way until we get to the other welt. Now we're going to continue like this, and I'll show you when I get here. I'm going to do another 2 rows of single crochet all the way around to give this a nice edge. So just to recap on how we go down the edge. We go once into where they join and once into the loop, single crochet. And they do vary quite a bit because here we have it where we were increasing, so it looks a little bit different every second row. So you've just got to use your discretion as to how you do it. So I would go into that loop, edging, and then into the actual loop. And here we've got another way, and of course I'm pulling this thread. So we've got that one, and then into the loop, into where they join, into the loop. And so we'll just keep picking up all the way down the edge like this. And we're going to go all the way down here, the whole length, until we get to the other welt, which we've already added our 12 chain stitches to. And I'm then going to go around that in single crochet and up the other side for 2 more rows, and I'll show you as I go along. So we're going to finish. This is the end. This is where we started our chain stitch and where we've got to the covering of the welt. So we're going to just do these last few stitches. And here we'll do a slip stitch. And we pull that like that, so it's in line with the way the crochet, single crochet is going. We thread our very large darning needle and we just go in here and we just go along the back, because this is now the front part, and we go back again. And here we have the one handle which is going to attach to the wall, and the other one which is going to attach to my pin board. And there we have our hammock. My name is Lindy and thank you for watching my channel. If you enjoyed watching how I crocheted this yarn hammock, storing from this to this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when my next video is available. Take care and bye.